Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Warble Wednesday with William, because that's what it is these days. Bit of a change, though.
That's it.
I don't think there's some Web Warriors going on. Oh, wait, nope.
Well, there might be.
There
I've
might be.
definitely bought some.
I lied. We got
But
one right here.
with Kingpin being released, I'm like, oh, maybe it's time to do some Spidey foes.
Yeah,
You know,
okay.
see the other side of the coin.
Yeah, interesting. Well, look, if you joined us last week, what we did beforehand was kind of like a pre-game chat. We decided, I'm going to talk about Bill's list, strangely enough, and Bill's actually going to talk about my list, and then kind of think, what are we expecting moving forward? And that way you can kind of understand a little bit more about maybe what you should be expecting as a player when it comes to looking at your opponent's lists, and therefore what you should change about your lists. Then we'll do a kind of end-in run and say, where were we wrong, maybe where were we right, how we would have potentially changed things, given the circumstances. So look, let's dive straight into it, but very, very quickly, I just want to give a shout out to Bill. Congratulations, buddy. You got your first win on stream last week. So
yes, I did. Thank you very
shout
much.
out to my boy. He's growing. Hashtag BeBetterBill. He's no longer hashtag BeBetterBill. It's hashtag BeBetterMax, because apparently I lost to Bill, which makes me absolute garbage.
Thanks. That doesn't feel condescending at all.
Oh, are you sure?
Oh dear.
But no, congratulations, buddy. But look, I'm going to check out your list. Definitely a couple things that I've seen the same, a couple things different here. So we can see, we've got some Web Warriors. So again, similar tactic. You actually fail on the Wakanda affiliation now. So that's an interesting change. It means that no matter what you're changing, arguably possibly not going to be as tanky as what you were previously, with obviously your Black Panther and things like that. But then you've obviously changed into the Spidey Foes. Now, Spidey Foes says once per turn, when an allied character attacks, it can spend 1 power to modify an opposing defense die. If it does, it may reroll that opposing defense die. So I have to be worried about actually being the squishier team this time, because obviously if I get crits or hits or whatever it may be, you can try and reroll that. If I need a lot of wilds on my team to be achieving success, then I probably am going to have a rough time against Spider Foes. So I probably should be picking a couple characters that maybe don't rely heavily on wilds. Obviously, you've got people like Valkyrie that have, Dragon Fang. Yeah?
It's the opposite of that. So basically, if I'm attacking you, I can spend 1 power. And then I can... So you roll all your defense dice, you do all your rerolls, and then at the very end, I can spend a power, and I can make you reroll one of them. So if I need to get that cheeky extra damage through, and I just haven't done enough, I can spend a power, make you reroll it, and you might get a fail.
Yeah, okay, so I actually did read that in the completely opposite direction. So solid, my bad. So again, look, definitely got to worry about the... I made a couple too many connections. Definitely got to worry about the squishiness of the team in that. Maybe Doctor Strange comes out pretty well with his heals, similar to Wong. I know maybe I don't want to be... in extended long trades where I'm a bit wary of those 1 or 2 bits of damage coming through, because that's going to be pretty scary if that happens. What else have we got? So again, looking at Infinity Formula goes missing. So based on kind of the missions that we have is probably what's going to spark my decision on affiliation. If we get something like Infinity Formula, I know he's probably moving towards Web Warriors. If we get something like the Riot sparking with a bit of healing and stuff, or the Gamma Wave is probably going to be closer to the Spidey Foes, because he can push through a lot of cheeky extra damage. Looking at the far side, obviously you got Wong. He's just your support for some R&D stuff. I'm assuming R&D, advanced R&D, uneasy ally. So again, probably going to see a Venom no matter what's happening. Got a plan for the fact that Venom's going to be around. I'm going to want to take some energy attacks, or ways to kind of push him, or lower his defense a little bit. So defenders is actually looking pretty good into Venom, because I can switch all my attacks into energy. I don't think I have many pushes in my team, so that might be a little bit of a struggle. I know Vision goes pretty well against Web Warriors, though, because he can't be pushed around as much. I'm also testing out Angela, so she'll be very, very interesting when it comes to movement around the board. I think she'll actually be quite powerful against Web Warriors, too. Obviously, you got some basic heavy hitters. You got Valkyrie and stuff like that. Venom's a heavy hitter. Interested to see if Kingpin pops himself out in this fight. So, look, some pretty tanky characters. 7 health, 7 health, 7 health, and then 6 on Valkyrie. So, if I end up against Spider Foes, definitely a lot of tankiness. Gotta be worried about that. Cards, very, very stereotypical. Drop off, pretty cute touch. Green Goblin can actually drop off Venom, I believe. So I have to be worried about. Yeah, I have to be and Kingpin. I have to be very worried about that interaction. I have to be again, gonna get up into the board pretty close, pretty quickly. Then of course all webbed up. Definitely gonna be worried about all webbed up with Venom. Because Venom is considered a Web Warriors even if you have the Spidey Foes affiliation, right?
No. So Web Warriors, like that means you need to actually have the Web Warriors affiliation. So if I'm not bringing Web Warriors, then I don't get to use a Web Dart.
That's pretty good. That's something a bit less I have to worry about if he's not picking the Web Warriors. Again, Lethal Protector, always brutal. So, yeah, look, game plan, thought process, deal with Venom. That's my big one so far, because I think given the two affiliations offered, Venom is 100% choice of what's going to be here. And be wary about getting spiked out. So probably not taking low health characters. I mean, Wong's obviously a bit of an exception on that if I need be, but we've got 6 health, 6 health, 6 health, 6 health. I probably don't want to go 5 on like the Wasp as an example. Because that can easily just get taken off the board. Zemo being a 5 can get taken off the board pretty quickly as well. So that's probably my fears.
Fair enough.
That's all for me. Don't get spiked out like I did last week. And kill Venom, and then I think I'm in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, fair enough. Looking over on your team, you've got some pretty big heavy hitters. So looking at your missions first, you got Worthy here, which is great for people like Valkyrie and Angela, who's going to hit like an absolute truck, and then you give them a hammer, and they're just going to throw more dice on there, and they're going to have an even better time.
I like punching.
Yeah, you're obviously rocking a dual affiliation group of guys, which is to say you're rocking Cabal over here, and you've got your defenders over here. So you definitely seem to be gearing slightly towards the higher echelons, your lowest threat level being 17 on your things. So I reckon you're hoping to run quite a big defenders list. Or you could go Cabal with Angela, which is pretty deadly, giving her even more power than she already generates. Obviously, yeah, I think there's not too much to break down about your list. It's you got your standard defenders team. Vision's really good, as you said, as a counterplay to Venom, especially because of that big beam 4/5 energy dice, and he can't get pushed around. So Web Warriors is going to struggle. Valkyrie is just always amazing. Can throw, gains 2 power, just excellent. Got good output. Doctor Strange will be really good in terms of if I decide to go down the Spidey Foes affiliation, he's a really good counterplay because of his Hogwarts Tory Wisdom, so he can give extra defense. So that's a really nice play where obviously having extra the output on a Spidey Foes team as opposed to Web Warriors is just vastly different. It hits a lot harder, much more of a kill team. I want a slower game, and so having Doctor Strange there, especially as he's rocking a Soul Gem, he's just going to keep passing out all those 2 extra dice, and even though I'm going to make you re-roll one with my one, suddenly you're counteracting that quite comfortably. So I think you're definitely going to be leaning more towards defenders. You've got Wasp here, who's really great for zapping down Green Goblin, who needs a lot of power and often has massive turns when he flips over because his card changes. It like the way he plays is very different.
That changes, to be quite frank.
Yeah, he kind of goes from this like spacey like mover / like utility debuffer into an absolute kill monster. Like he can't pick up objectives, but he just absolutely wrecks face. You've got Wong here for your utility. Again, more power, healing, always good stuff. Yeah, so you've got the longevity if you're bringing Doctor Strange and Wong because you've got 2 different heals and the extra defense dice. All good stuff. Looking over at your team tactics just quickly. Aim Lackeys, can't go wrong. Grievous Wounds, which is one of our spoiled cards, is going to be really great as a counterplay for Venom.
Yeah,
because I won't be able to do so. We Are Venom, which is a really great.
I personally think jumping on this card for just a moment. I think with the Doctor Stranges and the Wongs coming in pretty consistently these days. I think they're both very strong characters, and Venom, another healing-based character. We see these characters pretty consistently throughout the game. I think Grievous Wounds, whilst not necessarily a staple, I think it's going to be a very, very important card moving forward. Where if I see someone like a Venom, you've got your characters like Wasp and stuff that stop the power generation and so on and so forth. But I think the Grievous Wounds is something that will stop. It'll make it more comfortable to attack Venom, where he doesn't just get to if you don't have the ability to spike him out of the game, then he doesn't get the ability to just punch back onto you and just heal all that damage. And your turn is literally take 5 damage.
It's also a really great counterplay to things like med pack and field dressing because you can't get wounds back. So it's a really good anti-team tactics card. because basically if I want to do a cheeky field dressing and bring a dazing off, I don't get to remove the damage. I'm not sure how that interaction is going to play out, but if the assumption is that it wouldn't work basically.
Yeah, if the target is damaged by this attack, the target character cannot have damage removed from it this round.
Yeah, so that's a pretty big thing. Moving on, Pentagram's excellent card. With him having a gem, you can do it turn 1, and you can do some really excellent turn 1 plays with D-type maps. Again, if you're getting a portal between 2 objectives and having that maneuverability, especially if you're rocking a slower team, is just incredible. It's just super handy, super good. Sons of Cinnabis, obviously leaning towards Doctor Strange again. I find this card is very good, but it's a lot of loopholes. It's a lot of things you got to jump through to get into the right position, because you got to have 2 non-dazed ally characters within 2, and then you also want to hit at least 2 or 3 of their enemies to do it. But Beam 5, 8 dice.
And
so
if
good.
You deal damage, they also get the Incinerate.
Exactly. Brace for Impact, a classic. Pretty much
an
auto include
their crew and bring it at every single game.
Yeah.
You just have to.
Yeah. And then we got Highway to Hell, which I think you might want to take out.
I was originally having Ghost Rider potentially in here. So
swap that out for something else.
Yeah.
The med pack, again, great, another staple. And then you got Cosmic Invigoration as well. So yeah, you're obviously splitting down the middle as far as your defenders versus
I might get a cheeky drop off.
Yeah, that will do it. That will certainly do it.
Yeah, Vision's got flight. So he can
or Angela, Doctor Strange, and Vision all have flight. So that's a good time. That's a good time. And Wasp.
And Wasp has flight as well, but she's only size 1, I think it is, in a small form.
She gets flight at size 2 as well.
Yeah.
And so doing drop off with people like Doctor Strange is actually super good.
Yeah.
If you can pull it off, because he's got such a big base, so he generates he gets into position a lot easier, and he can start affecting the board a lot sooner. But anyway,
something like pentagrams, you can teleport and then actually save drop off for later on in the game as well to sneakily drag people onto an objective pretty quickly.
Yeah. Been having discussions with Harley, and he's been coming up with these great ways to get scoring herbs turn 1. Because you can just, with Pentagram, because you can just basically do this really cool drop off into giving each other powers. It takes quite a few team character cards and powers, but if you're getting 4 points in turn 1, you're having a good time.
You're having a good time. You're fighting the battle on your terms, not your opponent's terms.
You're immediately you're not the beatdown anymore, which is good. Anyway, so that's my general breakdown of your team. I think you're probably leaning slightly more towards defenders, but you could come up with a sneaky Cabal. Depending on what mission.
Really, every Cabal game I've played, I've only ever needed these 3 characters to kind of hit that Cabal. So
and then you can flex into what?
Yeah, exactly right. If I need 5 characters, I've still got Cabal here by taking these 3, and they're very strong, powerful characters. I think it's a pretty free Cabal affiliation if you ever want to try and do a double affiliation. And Zemo fits into a lot of lists as well. He's very similar to Valkyrie. Having 2 of those. If you watched last week's game again, spoiler alert, but they didn't prove themselves very well in that game. But generally, those 3 for 6 threat on those 2 is definitely
strong
brutal
plays.
Stuff if you can get it off well.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, man, that sounded pretty good. I'm curious to see what you play and what we end up doing.
100%. Let's roll some dice, pick some missions and stuff. And again, comment below if you really like this segment. We're trying to break down each other's lists and see a bit of a learning experience. There'll be a separate video that actually has the game, and then another third video that's separate for the breakdown at the end as well. So again, like this video, comment below to make sure that you kind of know what's happening and if it's something you want to see moving forward. And we'll progress from there. But otherwise, I'm going to throw you on to Ali. She's going to check out how you can do all our social medias and things like that from Facebook, Instagram, and the YouTube channel that you're probably watching right now. And alternatively, we also have another social media forum of our website, generalgames.com.au, where you can pre-order all of your Marvel Crisis Protocol goodness and needs, including terrains. I think we've got some mats up there as well, and all of the characters coming out shortly, so do check that out. But otherwise, I'm going to throw it to Ali, and we'll be right back in the next video.
Hey guys, it's Ellie. If you like that video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more interesting content. You can also follow us on Facebook for more information and events. Likewise, follow us on Instagram for those behind the scenes photos and videos. See ya!